Hello everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast is part of a Ztorm Tactile. This audio podcast is part of the Bridge Boulder. This audio podcast as part of a Ztorm and Ostix protocol. This audio podcast as part of the Bookish, and this audio podcast as part of a Ztorm and Ostix production. Through this audio podcast today, a look at the research gap and research approach, research question, the sort of around the sort of strength and limitations of a publication of a research poster presentation from 2023, a research poster presentation for that formed a research poster presentation for UKKW 2023. The research poster presentation is by Mohammed in 2023. In 2023, looking at observing chemokine and chemokine receptor expression in acute allograft rejection (AAR), a retrospective on human transplant immunobiology and laboratory practice. And as part of the research gap and research approach, the basis of the research poster presentation looked to provide a retrospective observation looking at chemokine and chemokine receptors expression in AAR. As part of the research question of approximately 18 chemokine receptors, at least 3 appear to be important or have important roles in rejection in experimental investigations: CCR1, CXCR3, and CCR5. In experimental research models, the chemokine receptor antagonists are more effective when used with low dose calcineurin inhibitors or CNIs than when administered as monotherapy. The research poster presentation was within the remit of a scientist's perspective on laboratory medicine and integrated transplant immunobiology services for CKD recipients. As part of the strength of the research poster presentation, the research poster presentation looks to outline AAR in context of immunobiology and chemokine expression through experimental investigations, and the research poster presentation offers a good interlink of clinical immunology or immunobiology through the literature. The limitations of the publication the research poster presentation or publication of the literature within the research poster informs on only some aspects surrounding how AAR in context of solid organ transplantation. Only some of the aspects surrounding AAR in context of solid organ transplantation. The research poster presentation should have included an example of how, for example, the RPSG and online services could help recipients and healthcare professionals to gain more informed understanding surrounding pathology and immunobiology services or healthcare services. That draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast as part of a Ztorm Tactile. This audio podcast as part of a Bridge Boulder. This audio podcast as part of a Ztorm and Ostix protocol. This audio podcast as part of the Bookish, and this audio podcast as part of a Ztorm Ostix production.